Hello everybody, how are you doing? It has been a very long time since I have shot an update video for this channel. It's been even longer since I've shot a video for my other channel. I have unfortunately just been insanely busy and have not had an opportunity to spend any amount of time in the shop. That coupled with the holidays, I mean, we just, there's a lot of activities that my children have. There's a lot of running that we do. So I've just been too tired, even when I had a few minutes, just so exhausted, and the desire to come out into the shop and do anything just hasn't been there. I honestly, guys, I hate to say this, but I'm thinking about potentially putting the channel on hold for a while and taking a bit of a sabbatical for a few months. And I know a lot of you might say, oh no, don't do that. But I know you guys enjoy the videos that I do, and I do enjoy making them, but the thing that's kind of got me down is when I look at the videos I've done recently, it seems like, they're all the same. Just make a pin, make a pin, make a pin. Yes, I try to throw some tips in there, but I don't really have any fresh tips. So I think what needs to happen is maybe I just need to put things away, especially the camera, and then just spend some time in the shop just kind of just doing things, making things, learning, teaching myself, and maybe develop some new skills, maybe develop some new ideas that will yield some better ways to do things or some new tips, and then pick it back up in a few months because, like I said, I may have a few days here between now and the end of the year where I can be in the shop, but I know the first of the year and for about 4 or 5 months of the new year, I'm going to be extremely busy. And I know there's not going to be much shop time. So I'm going to think a little more about that. And when I decide what I want to do, I probably will shoot a video for my main channel and post that for all of you guys. But in the meantime, I'm out here today. It's really cold, but I'm going to just spend a little bit of time. I'm just going to goof off. I'm not going to film anything except for, this update for you guys. And I'm just going to see what happens today. All right, I will keep you posted if anything good does happen. Just having a little bit of fun today. This is an attempt at an inside-out turning. What needs to happen now is I've cut the tape. We're going to flip these around and glue the faces together. This will become the inside of the turning, and then I'll do a little bit of turning on the outside. And really, I have no pattern in mind. I have no real goal. I'm just really playing. I think I talked about this album once before. This is a dollar bin pick that I found at one of the local record stores. It's actually a really good album. I mean, if you were into Pat Benatar in the 80s, this is some of her more recent stuff. It's a good album. However, I do prefer some of the stuff that came before this, a little harder edge that Pat used to have before the 80s kind of toned everyone down. So not sure what to go on the turntable next, but we're going to put something on there and get busy on the glue up of this inside out ornament. I'm working on building a sled for my bandsaw. Now you can see I've mounted a piece of wood to the left side of my sled, and it hangs down against the table. The right side, I'm going to take this, I just cleaned off the top of my table saw, and I'm going to take this over to the table saw and cut this to the exact fit. We'll mount another board on this side, and then we'll trim up the ends so it's nice and square. That will keep the sled from moving. This will guarantee that my sled goes perfectly square to the blade every time I use it. I'll talk a little more about that sled and what it's going to do later. Like I said, it's just imperative that I keep it square. I want you guys to know that I've been listening to a little Bachman Overdrive. I think this is the second album from BTO. It's a good album. It's not as good as the first, but it is a really good album. It just finished side 2. And I think what I'm going to do is put something else on. I don't know exactly what I listen to. I have a couple of albums left out here from the last time I was out here 8-9 weeks ago, whenever that was. And I'll see what's in the pile that I want to listen to. It'll be a repeat of of something that I've already talked about. So I just won't even bother mentioning it. I may tell you what I listen to, but I won't really talk too much about it. I'm going to get back over here. I need to get that sled down off the wall so that I can perfectly square that sled up, and just make sure, it needs to be square. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to get working on that, and I'll let you guys know how far I get. In regard to the inside out turning, I've got it here. half of it's in glue up. It is probably ready for to take and glue the two halves together. So I think I'll do that real quick before I start trimming on that sled. Here's a quick shot of the glue up. Just going to let it sit here and dry. I won't turn this tonight. It'll be tomorrow. I'm using a little Type Bond 2 wood glue, which is perfect. And I don't know, it's just an experiment. I've done these before, and I just wanted to try another one. The tricky part is when you make these 4 pieces have got to be perfectly square. If they're a little bit off, whatever you make is going to be a little bit off. So, and this one here is more for experimentation. So if it is a tiny bit off, I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about it. Give you a quick shot of the album. I decided to go back to the Spiders from Mars. I really liked this album the first time I heard it, and it's just an upbeat, lot of in-your-face music, and I really enjoy the album. Back over to the table saw. I've got a clamp to put up. I ended up using 3 here. Originally I had 4. We're going to put a clamp up. I'm going to get that table down up there, that sled, and we're going to start trimming up this sled for the bandsaw. On the left side of the sled, I got everything squared up on the front and the back. Real happy with that. And as I was cutting the sled to the proper width, I want to show you something. Make sure I get it tight here. You can see I've got maybe a 1/16 of an inch gap. I cut it just a little too far. I think what I did is I didn't account for is a carbide tipped blade, and the little carbide tips stick over a certain amount, and I don't think I accounted for that, and that's what cost me. So I'm just gonna have to put a little shim on there, and I think for right now, it's gonna be about it for me tonight out in the shop. I'm just not feeling it. That was a silly mistake. I should have thought about that. I just measured twice, cut once. I measured once, I cut, and I got bit. Not a big deal. I've got some nice little shims around here somewhere, and I was looking for where they were. They must be up in the loft. I'll pull out a couple of the shims, lay them on there just to the right thickness. Once I hit that thickness, I'll screw that other side on, and then we'll trim either end of it, and we'll have a nice square sled. At that point, I just need to put a back on there, not a back, a fence, and we'll be just that much closer to what we're going to do. So I'll keep you guys posted, but this is going to be it for me for today. I don't know if I'll be back out tomorrow or not. We'll just have to kind of wait and see what kind of a hand is dealt me. And I'd like to thank you guys for hanging in there, and I really appreciate it. And as I do a little more soul searching and decide what I want to do with the channel, I promise you guys will be the first to know. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you again real soon, I hope.